Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to a pair of subscriber replays. In this particular video, we're going with a couple of tanks that I haven't shown in a while, one of them in a very long time, and they're both tier 5 tank destroyers. So, to kick off proceedings, we are here with Brave Lerva. He's another one of those dingers fellas, and he is driving the French Bathtub of Doom, the tier 5 tank destroyer, the C35, and he's using, I believe, the 105mm gun on it. Why is he using the 105? Despite the fact that there are quote-unquote better guns. He's using the 105 because he gets 300 alpha. 300. It's a lot. It's the gun I used to use. He is here on Windstorm. It's a tier 5 game. And he's got 2 marks of excellence on the bathtub, so he clearly quite likes it. Now, in common with a number of other lower tier tank destroyers, this thing got hit a bit with the nerf bat a little while back, so it doesn't quite have the 400 meters view range that it once did. In this particular game, I'm not sure if this is before or after it got nerfed, so I'm not quite sure what the view range of the tank is in this game. But it used to be a hilarious monstrosity with 400 meter view range. So 165 pen, I think it is, 300 alpha with regular armor piercing. With APCR, the alpha damage jumps to 330 as well as the pen going to 223. And this gun is perfectly viable on the tier 6 French tank destroyer as well, the horrific ARL V39. Target number 1, there's a Hetzer, there's a platoon of Hetzers. They have 270 health, and this gun does an average of 300 alpha. Not that he needed the 300 for that particular fellow, but he might need it for this guy. That guy flubs his own shot, and is then sent to his maker. There's 2 kills. Oh, there's a Sherman. There's a Sherman across the river. Na, 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 na. Anyway, I'm going to stop singing. And can we put some damage in on him? Yes, we can. 41 health remaining, and he's probably wishing he hadn't bothered. Now, the S35 actually gets quite good gun arc. Bearing in mind it's a fixed casemate tank destroyer, so it doesn't have a turret, but it gets a pretty good gun arc. And hello, Mr. Churchill. Oh, gun's a little derpy, unfortunately. And actually, there's a plug of armor around the, oh, that actually bounced. There's a plug of armor around the gun. Goodbye, Mr. Sherman. If we just grab the camera around, you can see it. That circle of armor around the gun mantlet. Combine that with the pretty good gun depression and the ability of the gun to just kind of poke round corners. Hello, Mr. Churchill. And you can actually get some bounces in this machine as well. What's the downside? Oh, and it doesn't anymore, but it used to get a 400 meter view range. What's the downside, you might be wondering? Well, it's pretty darn slow. Hello, Mr. Type 95, and that took out part of a building. That's a shame. Ah, well, these things happen. Yeah, it's slow and ponderous, and although it does get a little bit of armor to give you some bounces, it's situational armor. It's armor that you can use if you're in the right position. If you're not, you can get penetrated and killed remarkably quickly. B1 shooting it out with a Churchill 3, so he's horribly outmatched in that particular engagement. Brave Lerva's going to come over here and lend a hand. Goodbye, Mr. Churchill. OI experimental around the corner. His gun is big. Brave Lerva's is bigger. And he is dead too. AT2 just around this corner. Can Brave Lerva take him roughly from behind? It would be nice. Oh, there's a Type 95 as well. Okay, well the AT2's kind of going out of the way. So Brave Lerva puts a shot into the Type 95, leaving him on 70 health, bounces the guy's return shot, and then goes back around the other way to deal with the AT2. Now, one thing you can see about the gun arc on this machine is it's asymmetrical. You get more gun arc over to the right-hand side of the tank than the left. So, in a way, it's a little bit like the M3 Lee in that you want to preferentially come around corners one direction as opposed to another direction. So, that's something to bear in mind. Side armor of an AT2, no match for this 105mm gun. Type 95 isn't a match for, well, most things. Certainly not for this tank. And especially when the Type 95 isn't even fully upgraded. Not that the upgrades on that tank make a huge difference. And he becomes Brave Lerva's 7th kill. And that just leaves a Matilda Black Prince on 187 health, fighting a Hetzer. And when I say fighting, I mean killing a Hetzer. Oh dear. Well, it's just Brave Lerva and the B1. And they're going for this last remaining Matilda Black Prince. Now, in theory, Matilda Black Prince could still do a fair amount of damage. He certainly has the penetration to penetrate Brave Lerva in most places, and the rate of fire to rack up the damage fairly quickly, but, well, Brave Lerva only needs one hot shot to hit, and this guy is screwed. So, with that in mind, where is he? Come here, you cheeky little blighter. We want to find you and kill you. Speed this up a little bit because, well, as I said, this tank is rather ponderous. There he is, 72 health. Can he put some damage in on Brave Lerva? Yes, he can, but he dies for it in the end anyway. And there we go. Kill number 8. Let's go and have a look at those post-battle results. Here we go then. Ace Tanker, Fire for Effect, High Caliber Top Gun, and of course the Radley Walters medal for those 8 kills. 2,065 damage done, 8 kills, 1,191 experience. Easily getting the highest amount of damage done in the game. Should probably highlight the B1 on the friendly team as well. He managed 5 kills and 916 base experience, which is a pretty good result, especially when you consider that guy was effectively bottom tier. 13 shots fired, 11 hits, 11 penetrations for that damage count, most of which was from actually relatively close range. Brave Lerva used the S35 there very much more as an assault gun than a traditional tank destroyer, and it worked out well, and with a gun that big, you can kind of do that, especially with a fairly wide gun arc. 24,500 credits received, repair costs fairly small, ammunition resupply costs not that significant, so 20,500 credits made profit, even with a standard account. With a premium account, that would have been a 33,000 credit profit. So, all things considered, a rather nice game there. Let's move on to our second showing. Well, in the previous game, I did mention the existence of the ARL V39, the Tier 6 French tank destroyer. And, here it is! Hurrah! This is generally considered a pretty terrible machine, though I'm sure there are some people out there who actually like it for some reason. We're joining I Am Legend 2000 here, and he's in a Tier 6 tank platoon with Killer Wagbo and Big Fra 12 in the ARL 44 and OI respectively. Now, they're on a Tier 6 game here on Cliff, and I Am Legend... Basically, the ARL V39, gets a choice of a couple of different guns. One gun it can use is the same 100mm gun that you saw in the last video on the Bathtub of Doom, and the other gun is this 90mm gun, which is basically the same gun that you get used on the ARL 44, the Tier 6 French heavy tank that is actually being driven for us in this game anyway. The 100mm gun gets better alpha damage and better DPM actually as well, I think, in exchange for worse accuracy and worse penetration, but better aim time. The 90mm gun gets lower alpha damage, higher penetration, better accuracy, worse aim time. It's really 6 to 1, half dozen the other, which one you want to use. Legend here has opted for the 90mm gun with 240 alpha damage and 212mm of penetration. So, Legend's platoon mate, Killer Wagbo there, managed to take out the enemy Cromwell Berlin, which is a nice start, and the first kill of the match. Unfortunately, in World of Tanks, you don't, of course, get the first blood bonus that you get in some games, but there we go. There's a Cromwell up on the hill as well. Oh, but the friendlies just lost both a Churchill and an OI experimental. And to be fair to the enemy Cromwell Berlin, he just typed in chat after he died, and instead of whinging and complaining as people usually do, he went, I got a bit greedy for damage there, my bad, which is fair enough. So, Legend here is, you might say, in a very defensive position, but the thing is, the ARL V39 is not a machine you can really be very aggressive with, certainly not with this gun. You've got no armour, and if we just take a look at it for a moment, you have a giant tumour on the top of your tank that people can hit as soon as they get anywhere near you. Or as soon as you try and go over a ridgeline or anything like that. So the only thing you can really do with the ARL V39 is camp, which personally I find incredibly boring, but maybe some people like it, who knows. And hello, Mr. Fury. Unfortunately that shot didn't strike home. Now, scoreline is 1-5. This is looking rather dubious for the friendly team. Not looking good at all. 1-6. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Cromwell up there. Hopefully Legend can put a shot into him. There we go. That makes life a little bit better. The guy's backing off. And of course narrow gun traverse, because this is French, and all French tank destroyers, apart from the Bathtub of Doom, have a narrow gun traverse. T-150 has been tracked out in the open. There we go. One more shot to finish this fellow off. Side of the turret. Come on. There we go. There's Legend's first kill, and that makes the scoreline 3-6. He says, just as it becomes 3-7. So, Cromwell up there. Ooh, there we go. There's kill number 2. G1R, that's the tier 5 French medium tank. There's a big chunk of his health gone. I say this has lower alpha damage than the 105mm gun, and that's true, but 240 alpha at tier 6 does still sting. KV1S there, he did have a tiny sliver of a shot, but I'm not sure if he noticed, and even if he did, it's not a great shot, so I can understand him perhaps not wanting to go for it. Goodbye, Mr. Fury. There's kill number 3, and suddenly the scoreline is even at 9-9. Now, unfortunately, was it Killer Wagbo? Killer Wagbo has been taken down. Big Fra 12 is still going in his OI. Those things are remarkably difficult to actually kill. And, well, as I say, there are even team numbers left on either side. So, Legend is moving up. He's had enough of his camping position. It's entirely possible there'll be some bad guys emerging from this valley, and if so, he'd really like to shoot them. Now, the OI of his platoon mate, it's a good tank, and it's a very difficult tank to kill, but it's not impossible to kill. But it does make a very good roadblock. Legend managed to notice a Lux, but unfortunately he wasn't able to bring the gun to bear in time, and... well, maybe the Sherman will nuke the Lux, that would be nice. We shall see. Friendly Lux dies, there we go. Gremlin 4 in his M4 manages to take out the enemy Lux. And apparently today is not the day to be in light tanks. Now, if we look at the enemy composition, they have 1 artillery piece, 3 tank destroyers, and 1 heavy tank. So I was about to say they're unlikely to play too aggressively, as most of their machines don't do well in close-range engagements. Having said that, there's the Churchill gun carrier, who just put a big hole in Big Fra's OI. There aren't that many tier 6s that have the regular penetration to punch straight through an OI frontally, but the Churchill gun carrier is one of the few things it does have going for it. There's the enemy OI. Legend managed to put a shot into him, but unfortunately wasn't able to kill him. However, shout out to friendly artillery. The AMX-13F3 managed to take out that Churchill gun carrier from pretty much full health, who had an awesome name. There we go, Monetarist Duck. Although apparently he didn't take that action too kindly. OI there, he's just giving Legend his side armor here, which makes him a really easy target, and Legend can't quite reload in time to get the shot just there, which is a shame. Snapshot there manages to pick up the kill though. There's kill number 4, and that's 1 dead OI. What's the best sort of OI? A dead OI. FE304 goes up there to deal with the Sherman, but the Sherman says nope, and Legend just bounced something. Unlikely to be, well, the Jagdpanzer IV was last spotted up by the enemy base, and the last time we saw him it didn't look like he was going to be particularly keen to move, so I reckon it's probably not him. And indeed, there's the Hellcat. There was the Hellcat, there goes kill number 5. Legend moves up, it's just this Jagdpanzer IV remaining. Now let's not count the guy out just yet. Jagdpanzer IV can actually still do a lot of damage. It's not a tank a lot of people like. I personally do like it, but it is a tank that gets, for all its failings, rather high DPM, with 220 alpha damage to boot, which is pretty decent for a tier 6. So it can actually quite quickly shred any of the enemy tanks here. And okay, he's not on full health, but if he were, he could definitely give I Am Legend a run for his money just through sheer DPM. In a straight out shooting fight between an ARL V39 and a Jagdpanzer IV, I would expect the Jagdpanzer IV to win pretty much every time. So let's not make this one of those matches. Firstly, the Jagdpanzer IV has less health. Secondly, Legend is of course not alone. And one of Legend's platoon mates is just saying, if you don't get a crucial, you're dead to me. How many kills have they got? Legend's on 5. Wagbo's on 3. That's 8. He can't get a crucial, I'm afraid. Can't get a crucial. What a travesty. 9 kills is the maximum he could achieve for the platoon. But he'd have had 6 on his own, so that's nothing to be sniffed at. Legend is going on the basis that Jagdpanzer IV hasn't been spotted recently and may well be coming around the other side of this hill, which is fairly sensible. And we'll see if he is right or not. I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. The ARL V39 is kind of slow and sluggish, and indeed, Legend is proved correct. There the Jagdpanzer is. Puts a shot in, Jagdpanzer puts a shot into him. Jagdpanzer will reload first, unfortunately, but he flubs his shot, meaning Legend gets to put the next shot in. Oh, but it's still close. The Jagdpanzer IV should reload before Legend does, if the Jagdpanzer IV holds his nerve. Oh, and actually, Legend bounces on the Jagdpanzer, and the Jagdpanzer kills him. So there we go, just to give you an idea. Even though the Jagdpanzer flubbed at least one of his shots, possibly 2, and even though Legend started off on full health, whereas the Jagdpanzer did not, the Jagdpanzer managed to kill him. And that's not a criticism of Legend there, that's just in a straight-up shooting match between the two. The higher DPM of the Jagdpanzer just murders an ARL V39. And of course, the Jagdpanzer gets a little bit of armor to boot that the ARL really doesn't get. Anyway, the Jagdpanzer doesn't have much health remaining, so hopefully this Sherman, or maybe the artillery, will be able to finish him off. We shall see. Apparently, Legend has decided to watch the artillery now. So I'm just going to speed this along a little bit. And I'm surprised as Legend says, I'm surprised the friendly artillery isn't deciding to jump into the capture circle, because that could really put the pressure on this enemy Jagdpanzer. As it is, there's the Jagdpanzer, and Gremlin 4 in his Sherman takes the guy out. And that's the game. So let's go and have a look at these post-battle results. So here we go. Ace, Tanker, Bruiser, Fighter, Fire for Effect, and High Caliber there in his ARL V39. 3,003 damage done, 5 kills, 1,045 base experience. You might be looking at thinking that's not much XP for that amount of damage at tier 6, but remember, most of that damage was being spotted by someone else. So Legend wasn't actually doing his own spotting, so that means some of that XP goes to that other guy. The enemy Jagdpanzer IV in the end did 1,966 damage, which isn't bad, but when you consider that basically 600 of that was on I Am Legend at the end, it doesn't look quite as impressive. Still not a terrible result, but not amazing. In terms of damage, Legend easily outstripped everyone else in the game. 19 shots fired, 16 hits, 15 pens for that damage count, most of which was from relatively long range. Received 5 hits, 3 penetrated, 2 didn't, which was really rather lucky, for 355 damage blocked by his armour. 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 5 of them destroyed, 134 assistance damage, and with a premium account, a almost 36,000 credit profit. So there we go, a couple of games for you in mid-tier French tank destroyers. I hope you enjoyed those games. If you did, by all means feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao ciao.